Today I'm going to be going over some of the easy ways of getting into the game, some of the time-honored pathways that have been, from the evolution of difficulty in the game. So when the game first started out, you didn't need special sets. You could just run a regular Inferno staff, just like the ones you use for making writs, whenever you turn into the Orsinium Civic Renewal of Vengeance Committee. Um, all you had to do was just, equip something and run into battle, and everyone alongside you was doing the same thing. You didn't have to grind hours, you didn't have to, do the hardest dungeons. All you had to do was just start the game and then come up. So I'm going to be going through, which sets to put together that are easy to put together, which zones are easy to grind, and kind of do a progression, that will hopefully give you, maybe not the fastest route, but a route you can enjoy and do on your own, here in 2024. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so starting out, I'm a Covenant player, so True Blue all the way. But Daggerfall is the starting quest line for the base game. Base game, easiest part of the game. You come through, you fight enemies. You might not necessarily insta-kill them right off the bat, but you'll be able to combat them in groups if you use AoE abilities, and any starting class with any gear, even no gear, can fight enemies in the base game. It used to have a level progression that would get you to level 50 when you got to Cold Harbor. So just going through the quests, in a timely manner, starting from Daggerfall through all the zones into Cold Harbor, will get you through. But in the starting city, you have just a place to pick up your wrists. You probably don't want to start them right off the bat because crafting will take up valued skill points. But this is the city where you will find the harborage for the Daggerfall Covenant. So it's like a little cave and quest line that each quest will give one skill point. It's fairly good to do. And then you can pick up your Fighters Guild and Mages Guild skill lines and start leveling those right off the bat. Yeah. But if you want to start deconstructing stuff, so you can do it at any level, and it's the most effective way for leveling up the main trades, is just finding the gear you find, the gear you don't want, taking it to a smithing station and breaking it down. Of course, you can collect gold, and the little bit of gold you get in game can be used for the various traders. But yeah. Okay, so once you hit 160, you're going to want to start your gear progression. So base game has some pretty good sets for stam and mag. I'll do a quick overview inside the new collections menu. I call it new, but it's been out for several years now. But for someone who's been here for 9 years, it's quite the collection to still look at. So here we have sets, grouped by category, the 3 main alliances, where you'll find the easiest ability to collect sets. The best sets that you'll want to grind as a mag player is from the base game. Would be Soulshine if you're a Templar, because the jabs will be boosted by this set's 5-piece. For channeled times, so Templar spear and the beam that they have will be boosted. And then in this zone, Malbator, you'll be picking up Smitter's Garment, which is good for PvP and starting out PvE. So that's just one 5-piece. You can get that on rings. All you have to do is do the dolmens, and starting out. One thing with the base game zones, the trash mobs, as you progress, go from something that you fight, having to use multiple abilities on, something that you should be able to 2-shot, if not 1-shot. So there's different progressions throughout the game. I'll cover it in different videos, but yeah, just starting out, dolmens, you should be able to solo them like at pretty much any level. Once you hit 160, that's when you're gonna want to go get your gear. Otherwise, just take your time. You're playing a game. It's about enjoying your time. Even if you still have to fight the mobs, that are kind of trash mobs, with ability and some form of detail and dedication, you can do it solo by yourself while listening to the quest dialogue. You don't have to rush, and then you're collecting skill points the entire time. Something to note that I could have said earlier is that there's a zone guide. So you'll see a little symbol, in the left-hand corner where it says 0 out of 16 for this zone. That's because I'm a true blue. I don't mess with the other alliances. But collecting sky shards in every zone is something you can do. So there'll be one in each delve, one inside the public dungeon, and then several scattered across the zone. There will also be close to 15 in every alliance's storyline. Skill points scattered throughout the quests that have this symbol. So you see how it has the upgraded arrow that points up and down inside the arrow or diamond itself, versus just the regular old-fashioned quest one. Those are the quests that typically have the skill point. Now, inside the public dungeons, you'll have special events, so a special mob, a boss that will drop a skill point, and doing the 4-player dungeons, scattered throughout the map, will also give you a quest. So you unlock these as you level up. Doing them on normal, you might be kind of a hindrance to the group, but on normal it shouldn't. Someone, a veteran player should just be able to walk you through it by themselves. Like I can do spindle clutch by myself on my DPS. So it's not gonna be too much of a hindrance. On veteran, the DLC dungeons, you can't get through them pretty much, starting out as a new player, but I'll walk you through the progressions, coming up. One thing is that you if you have the Skyrim access to Greymoor, you can start doing something known as antiquities, right? So you can scry for stuff. Each zone will have a green and a blue. If you notice, that's 1,000 gold, and it also have a purple. When you do all 3 in each zone, you can get an achievement in the base game. So base game would be the Almiri Dominion, Daggerfall Covenant, Ebonheart Pact, and Cold Harbor, in addition to Stros Mackay,
apparently a group of Fighters Guild
Betnik,
soldiers got ambushed and taken to a prison.
Knarthy's Roost, and Balfoyen, and Bleak Rock. I think it's in the EP starting zones. So starting zones are marked. You can see them in the set items. It's part of the categories. DLC zones down here is miscellaneous. Starter zones that drop the trainee. It doesn't say where they are, but those were the little islands that I mentioned in that list. In addition to the Almiri zones, which are listed here under their armor category. Now, when you're collecting armor, you're going to want to get a DPS, and you're going to want to get a tank armor setup. So, I think I changed topic halfway through. Me being an amateur here, but tank setup, Ebonheart Pact. Let me see, or is it Deshaun? You have 2 good sets here. Plague Doctor, good for a tank, just add a bunch of health, and then you can combo that with the crafted set known as Fortified Brass. And then Mother Sorrow is a good DPS for Magicka, adding a bunch of critical. So you don't necessarily want to combo critical and penetration, because you want to get max that and damage. But if you have access to a zone, so the zones are easier than the 4-man dungeons, of course, and the DLC zones are harder to do the bosses. But if you want to the challenge Northern Elsewhere, Crafty Alfiq, would be the next set you want to go for. You know, in your quest to collect armor once you hit 160. Reason why I say 160 that is the gear cap. You know, so all the armor that you get, you pretty much can keep for the rest of your time gaming in ESO. And once you collect a sticker book, the amount of transmutes that it takes slowly goes down. So I'm a PvP player. You know, transmutes means nothing to me, but for a starting player, that can be, you know, a nuisance getting the proper trait and whatnot else. For something that you don't even think about getting the proper trait when you're getting your armor. When you're shopping around, you know, if you have the gold to spend or the time to spend, you can go from trader to trader in all the zones. There's hundreds of traders, but you want to stick to the main cities. So Stormhaven, Wayrest, here in Deshawn, Mournhold, and then the All-Merry Dominion in Green Shade, Elden Hollow, or Elden Root, I should say. So there's a 4-man dungeon named Elden Hollow right next to this tree called Elden Root. But that's where you want to do your trading. Also, the Vex City is pretty popular, has good traders, and Craglorn has good traders. There's some spots where there's 6, some spots where there's 7. Just look on your map, so it'll tell you. Like it'll bring up a list of how many traders are in the area. Just look around, count off, and then, you know, browse through. The thing is that the game isn't as popular as it used to be, so the quality of the items in the trader has gone down as the number of players that have made postings have gone down. But new DLC area, so this year coming up, it'll be the Gold Coast, which would be in this area over here, in between Cyrodiil and the Gold Coast over here, or the Gold Road. But you know, right now it's out is the Telvanni Peninsula, so going there is a high population, and because ESO Plus only gets the chapter from the previous year, High Isle, right now is currently a hotspot player activity. So if you're a sorcerer, Daggerfall Covenant, not Bankrite, but Rivenspire Necropotence has a good match Magicka for DPS. And these have been sets that have, you know, lasted throughout the years. Draugrs here, whatchamacallit. Once you do start doing dungeons, that's where a majority of the sets come from. So you would have, let me see, Diafrost Keep, Draugr Hulk for stamina. Viper Sing used to be good. If you want to add a proc, maybe start out with something. It has full uptime, 4 seconds, reset 4 seconds, so it's up the entire time. This might be a good set for stamina. And it once was a meta, but it's been adjusted over the years and has been eclipsed. Eben, this used to be a set for tanks, so starting out as a tank, you know, if you want to combine Plague Doctor with Eben versus doing a crafted set, that's something you can do. Don't do this. The City of Ash grind for a new player might not be as comfortable, but it used to be back in the day. Burning Spell Weave was a meta, but that thing is long since eclipsed. Alright, and Medusa. So Medusa combined, if you do the rings and a weapon, combines well with Mother Sorrow. Okay, so next, you'd want to get into doing, you know, after you get some helmets, you know, collect some of the easier dungeons. So, let me see. After you do some of the easier DLC dungeons, all of them have a bit of a learning curve, you know, even the earlier ones. But I know for me personally, the older ones, because I've been accustomed to them, are a lot easier for me. So White Gold Tower, Imperial City Prison, which has a learning curve, Ruins of Ma's Tomb. Pretty much anything here that you see where I have a high bar of progression has been easy for me, except for Frostle. If I have a bad team, it's easy for me to do, and if you're going and learning it, it's probably easy to do. But you have to avoid some areas in there. Castle Coral Eyrie has a lot of area at the end phase of the boss. But you probably don't want to go in the DLC dungeons just yet, not before you do Craglorn Trials. So, Aetherian Archive, Veteran Hellrock Citadel are ran often in the player base. Trial sets get you special 3 peaks bonuses, Minor Slayer, and Aegis, if you're on a tank, so Defending Warriors, you'll see here. And I'm going to choose a different one. Cloud Rest is an easy one. Gain major Aegis at all times. That's a unique set. Bonus only available to trials, certain trials gear. And then helps push over your stats. Cloud Rest is an easy one to do that gets done often, but you have to use 12 people for it. But with the sets coming in, that'll show you that I showed you for PvP. Some of the PvP sets can be used for PvE, and it's kind of as a stepping stone. This can help you transition into endgame. Starting out doing getting some of these sets. But even after you get them, you still have many mythics. Okay, pay attention to the spot. This is a PvP spot, so my cup of tea. But it was released more when they dropped Battlegrounds. There's a special vendor here that drops old PvP gear. So when you PvP, whether you're doing Battlegrounds or Cyrodiil, after you get a certain amount, like around 10k AP, you'll earn something in your mail called Rewards of the Worthy. And it'll drop a random set piece that is of something that is in the current rotation of the year. So, sometimes it changes quarterly, sometimes it changes yearly. But some of the best sets have been released in the past. You can't get anymore unless you come to a special vendor around here, known as the Elite Air Vendor. Alright, so some of these things you can go in immediately, and the best thing about this PvP sets is that you can buy them. Alessian Order, an amazing tank set, health recovery, and also especially combine this with Beekeeper. And you're looking at a good Vicious Death. This is a staple for any mag DPS and PvP. You kill one guy, you blow up the rest of them if they're standing close, so it's good for Cyrodiil. There's some 3 set bonuses in here, Marks of Imperium, and you can buy them. And 20k AP, that's not long to get. That's 2 battlegrounds. You get if you win 2 battlegrounds, that's 20k AP. But you have to slowly collect the entire set if you're doing it by yourself. But luckily these can be traded, so you can buy them when they're available. Race of the Ancients, so this can be combined with spinners, so 5-piece spinners, body pieces, a helmet, and Grace of the Ancients will combine fairly well. Deadly is also a good staple. Dark Convergence, this is the thing that kills everyone in Cyrodiil. Like when people bomb, this is the thing. It does damage on its own, but the main thing that it does is that it pulls enemies after a 1-second delay. So it has a huge radius, and will get like 10 guys into a single dot. Spell Strategist. So this actually stacks and compares to a trial set, Sororia. So one thing you can do entering PvP, and I had a player that I tutored, mentored, test this and kind of confirm this with their DPS, as a stepping stone into, making that dungeons easier, is putting this on. and then focusing targets, with the extra 444 weapon and spell damage. So this is a set that can be acquired, over some days, over some time. And only thing is with these boxes is that they're not bound by the sticker book, so you're not gonna get what you're missing. So if you already have the ring, you might get multiple rings, and of course it's one out of the 17 pieces of the set, or however many pieces of the set there are. So you're not selecting the body piece, you're not selecting the ring or weapon, so you kind of have to randomize it. And that's the way how it was back in the day for a lot of the armor acquisition. So you're kind of going old school with it, but if you and a group of friends come together, and I know my guild is going to be helping players to bring this together, and put together the pieces that they're missing, it doesn't take that long. If you're doing it by yourself, it'll take a while. But if you and 5 people go and do it, you trade the 5 axes you got, for the missing body pieces you need, and it goes by quick.
All right, let's take a moment from the video to talk about crafted sets. So they're an easy way, to get good gear. All you have to do is run around collecting mats, buy mats. You don't even need the raw material as you need the refined material. And you can get, some high throttled stats quickly and easily for PvP or PvE by having someone craft you gear. Leveling the crafting yourself isn't as lucrative in the beginning, especially being how you might only have 100 skill points for the 100 passives you need. But yeah, New Moon Acolyte is a good set. In addition to a lot of Julianos, Hundings, and old classics. At one point, I had my guild running Innate Axiom when that first dropped, but yeah. There's plenty of builds online. I'll probably make one myself, but crafting is like a good kind of middle-ish. Once you finish going through your questing, doing zones, you would have enough material, and once again you want to wait until you're 160 before you start crafting mats.
Well, yeah, after this, you're pretty much free to transition to any guide you want once you put together those base starting sets, and yeah, enjoy your travels in ESO.